Abigail now has 1000 stun rather than 1075. I think a small difference in stun often goes a pretty long way. He has a new sweep on down back roundhouse. This is an entirely new normal, but it pretty much works like every other sweep in the game. Decent reach, good priority, hits low, very unsafe on block. Abigail's is minus 14, so even at max range I think it'll often be punishable. It definitely doesn't outclass his rolling down roundhouse. Back Fierce now takes much longer to whiff, and the hurtbox is easier to hit in its recovery. This was accidentally an incredible counter poke up until now, since it's a 7 frame heavy, and whenever you did it you could option select the target combo, which leaves him point blank and +3. Abigail's would often throw this normal out quite a lot in neutral, and now it's a lot more likely to get punished. Abigail's command grab lost a lot of range. A lot of his setups leave him pretty close, so it won't affect them too much. But this is really bad for any scenario where he has to get a quick punish. Abigail has no medium or heavy normal faster than 7 frames, so if something's minus 6 he'd like to punish it with a heavy or EX command grab. If he's out of range for a command grab, he's often out of range for a cancel to light Abigail punch. You can use EX Abigail punch, which has more range. But even that can be really inconsistent, and if you can't get that, you can only get a single light normal. Medium and heavy giant flip have a bigger hurtbox before Abigail hits. I think punishing this move is more often a question of did they hit a button in time than were they in range, but it does make it harder to space. Run flip has more juggle potential. I only know of a few places Abigail even has time to juggle into this, so I don't know the new routes. It's a really rewarding ender, so wherever he can go into it, it's good. V-skill, both in and out of his run, now builds 50 less V-meter in all contexts. V-skill in neutral now builds a third of a V-bar, instead of half of one. The biggest changes are to his VT1. It now costs 3 blocks, which is maybe appropriate, since even in a vacuum it's probably his better trigger. But it doesn't last as long overall, and the charged fierces cost a greater percentage of his remaining time. This is going to make it a lot easier for the opponent to turtle out Abigail's trigger. Apart from all these changes, Abigail had a number of little nerfs to his damage and V-meter build, which make him a bit weaker overall. Abigail was probably the most nerfed character I've looked at so far, which I find a little strange. I think he was probably a high tier character in Season 3, but not as good as Kami or Ibuki, who don't seem to be as badly nerfed. Most of the changes probably won't matter too much, but the increased price of VT1 plus the V-meter build nerfs, both specific and general, hurt him a lot. I know there was a universal move to make triggers less game deciding, and Abigail got a lot of mileage out of his trigger, but they probably could have compensated him a bit more before he activated instead of nerfing him. Even still, I can't see him being worse than mid-tier considering what he still has.